This is Secret America.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Jack Danger along with Jay Gatling. And yesterday was actually a great day. A little bit yesterday afternoon and today actually worked out really well because apparently, we talked about, how we've always talked about how Democrats have had like this horrible string of corruption. It seems like every single Democrat. I mean, I don't think I found one honest Democrat. I mean, even John Fetterman flip-flops all the time, and he's the closest thing to an honest Democrat I've seen. So, but I think it's great, though. I want to ask you something. Okay. So Louise Lucas was arrested, or not arrested, but she was raided. Her offices were raided. And believe it or not, the cannabis dispensaries, she co-owns those. For people that don't know that, she co-owns the cannabis dispensaries that were raided right next to her office, believe it or not. She opened a marijuana sales dispensary right next to her office. The whole thing was about corruption. That's what this scandal was about. But the main thing that bothers me is they're saying that it started under the Biden administration. I don't believe that for a second. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that bullshit. I mean, first of all, Trump has been in office for over a year. Okay, so you're telling me it took them multiple years to get to this point? I mean, you could send in, and have an informant or send in someone in there to buy illegal marijuana sales and arrest her in, a week or two. It don't take 2 years to do that shit. She was arrested for illegal marijuana sales with the, higher THC limits than they were supposed to be, or ones that weren't regulated, that kind of stuff. And then also, corruption charges, which breeds with that because she, obviously runs the state Senate and then also makes decisions based on the, on the marijuana legalities and all that stuff. So, but Jay, you got to tell me, there's no way that Joe Biden started this shit. I mean, do you honestly believe Joe Biden, the king of corruption, is going to start a corruption probe against one of his own people, one of the people that are very, very deep into corruption, probably with him, if you want the truth?
Do I believe it? Not necessarily, no. But you know what? I'll take it.
It's not necessarily. He didn't do it. It didn't happen.
But I'll take it. And I told you this yesterday. Here's how I look at this. Because all day yesterday, there were Democrats crying about this. And my response to them was, it was open during the Biden administration. What are you crying about?
I can't give him the credit. I can't give him. You cannot give a man who was a walking mummy credit for opening. I mean, what you're doing is you're giving him credit for fighting corruption in his own party. No. Well, that is not Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't fight corruption in his own party. He creates corruption in his own party. I'm sorry. I can't give him credit for that.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's getting credit. Maybe it was stalled. Maybe he started it, but maybe they buried it. Maybe somebody started it and then they buried it. Maybe that's why it took this long. But all the thing, I just have a talking point now to use against Democrats. President Trump is attacking his political opponents. No, this was started by Joe Biden. So you can't go there with me. Now, Donald Trump's FBI and Donald Trump's DOJ might bring it to fruition and actually put these people away like they should. And the way I'll spin it is, and it might actually be true, like I just said, maybe it was opened on the Biden by somebody and it got shut down. And maybe somebody on the President Trump's DOJ reopened it because they knew it was actually a good case.
I'm sorry. I can't buy it. I can't. Stop selling it to me because I'm not going to buy it. I mean, it can't be possible. It's not possible. The man was the king of corruption. There's no way he's going to open a corruption probe into his own party. It's just not going to, especially when you need allies in places like a state Senate person that's the president of the state Senate. He's not going to do it. It's just not, that's not Biden. That's not the previous FBI. We know for a fact that they literally covered up corruption for other Democrats. I can promise to God they did not open any corruption cases against any Democrat. Now, if you want the truth, there might be secret black file corruption cases opened against every single Republican in the world. Now, I'm not saying they're corrupt. I'm saying that probably, just like the J. Edgar Hoover thing when he opened, cases against every black person in the world, I would say that Joe Biden, the Democrats, probably opened cases against every Republican. But there is no way on God's green earth that they opened a case against a Democrat. I'm sorry. I just don't see it.
Well, I'm just going to take the narrative that I'm being fed and I'm going to spin it to my benefit. Our benefit.
It is spinnable.
That's what I'm going to do.
Spinnable. But
Yeah,
I want to say,
absolutely.
because I don't want to give him credit. People are gonna be like, well, if you spin it that way, then they're gonna be like, well, look, at least Joe Biden, he was really fighting corruption. You can't say anything bad about him now. He wasn't corrupt. He was fighting corruption. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I don't know that this one case can really change anybody's mind who has common sense, Jack. Honestly,
The left will bark it. They'll bark it from the mountaintops.
let them. They're doing a lot of barking lately, especially when they're getting their teeth kicked in every southern state except Georgia, because Brian Kemp.
We're going to talk about that too.
But yeah, that aside, let them bark. Let them keep screaming, because they're losing on this, and they're going to lose on the redistricting thing big time, because southern states are doing what they're supposed to, and we'll talk about it, like you said. But in this case, as I said, we're getting fed a narrative that Joe Biden's administration opened it. That's great. I'll say, well, why did it take so long? Maybe it was buried, and maybe President Trump's DOJ took the case up, but you can't say that President Trump opened the probe into a Democrat state senator as revenge, because that's not what happened here. Joe Biden's administration started it. We'll finish it, though.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it doesn't matter. I see where you're coming from with wanting to spin it, but quite honestly, I don't care what the left says, and I don't want to give Joe Biden any credit.
He won't.
So let me tell you though, Jay, they still haven't arrested her. I mean, so they'll arrest little peons, but of course they're not going to arrest the president of the Senate. So the president of the state Senate. So she's the one. This is her shop. She owned that cannabis dispensary. She had her office right next to that cannabis dispensary. She sold illegal marijuana sales out of that cannabis dispensary. THC over the limits in that cannabis dispensary, but she was not arrested. And will she be? Probably not, if you want the truth. The FBI has not come that far.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Let's see what happens. I liked what Sean said last night, that he's a former FBI agent. That's why I had to ask him the question. I said, from a former FBI agent's standpoint, he was in the agency for almost 30 years. I said, how do you think Kash Patel's doing? And he was very happy with him. He said he's talked to people that are still there, and the rank and file seem to be on board with Kash Patel and like the job he's doing. So that's good. It could have been worse. He could have said no. We could have said no. I think he's doing a terrible job, but he said he's doing a good job.
I don't think he would have done that though, because he seems like the kind of guy that would not want to disparage the FBI, because he was part of the FBI. I don't think he would want to disparage them.
No, he wouldn't be disparaging the FBI as a whole. He'd be disparaging.
I think he might feel that way, though. Okay, this guy's the director of the FBI. I'm not going to disparage, the direct. But anyway, it doesn't even matter. That's fine.
Yeah, I got no problem disparaging the leadership of my former departments at all.
Well, that's because they're absolutely insane now. But they're insane now. But I got to say though that I just don't like that she wasn't arrested, if you want the truth. But I will say, remember how we talked about Todd Blanche and how I'm pretty sure that the reason that he's doing everything he's doing is and this is just my personal belief, I believe he held Pam Bondi back. He held her back with the Epstein thing to make her look bad, to get her out, so that way he could be the what do you call it? The acting attorney general, and then he's going to go full bore, so that way he can become he wants people to start clamoring for him to be the attorney general. But Jay, once he gets what he wants, it's not going to be like everybody thinks it's going to be. People think, oh, look how good he's doing as the acting attorney general. Yes, that's because he knows the job is temporary. Once it's permanent, it's a different story. He knows that the next person that Trump appoints, Trump is not going to be able to remove. If you remove 2 attorney generals in one term, it's going to make you look really bad. He knows that. So he wants to get in there because he knows it's a permanent position for at least the next few years. But he's got something. I mean, I will say that at least for now, he has been doing, a decent job, because there was something that I wanted to bring up. For some reason, I don't see it on here. I had it on here, but I don't see it. But anyways, there was something that I wanted to bring up, something else that he recently did. But I got to say, he has been doing a decent job, a good job, much better. But that's because, what are we comparing it to? Someone who didn't do anything and who was held back. He's not doing a great job. What he's doing is the job he's supposed to do.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a good job so far with the job he's supposed to be doing. Okay,
well,
you're right.
He's doing the job. Yeah, I don't know about
he's
good
doing
job. He's just doing it.
But you're going to get pushback from people, and they're going to say,
"Oh, I'm sure."
Pam Bondi's the one that set a lot of this in motion. She was the one. Maybe that's true. It might be true. Maybe it is. But you know what? She didn't follow through on or she didn't go over the finish line on it. Whatever it is. Pam Bondi, though, didn't need any help screwing herself up with the Epstein files. She didn't. She screwed it up herself with the messaging was so bad. The
Oh yeah, the
binders was
messaging
so
was
bad.
terrible.
The
Terrible.
messaging was really the biggest problem. It could have been handled so much better. And Pam Bondi was never good at messaging and really anything, as she wasn't. I liked
No,
how she would
no.
fight back at those congressional hearings. I thought she did decent there, but her overall message, her overall dealing with the media and putting that out there was subpar, to say the very least. So she didn't really need help screwing it up. Could he have held her back as her number two from, stalling some stuff? I'm
Oh
sure he could
yeah,
have.
very
Yeah.
easily held her back.
Yeah. I'm sure he could have.
But
And
let me
I think
tell you,
that's gone on, Jack, right? In
oh,
other
of course,
businesses
it's gone on.
where
How many times has the underboss,
right,
just like in the mafia, they kill the boss so they can be the boss.
right,
That's exactly what happens. How many
right.
times have we seen Carlo Gambino blow somebody's brains out? You got what is it? Paul Castellano was killed by John Gotti, so that way he could be the freaking boss. That's what they do. If you're the underboss of any organization, your goal is to be the boss. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah,
But
it's
let me
human
play
nature.
something for you.
Go
Huh?
ahead. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's human. It's human nature. I said human nature.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you get to that point where you're the second in command, you want to get to first, because that's why you got to where you are, is because you want to get to first. Now, and it doesn't matter, if you destroy the person ahead of you, does not matter.
Yeah.
So let me show you something though, and I'm going to tell you, Todd Blanche right now is, like I said, he's doing the job he's supposed to be doing. I don't know if it's a good job. I'm just saying he's doing the job, and will be compared to as a person who didn't do the job before. Now, I will say he's also saying the right things, but people have got to remember that this man is a snake. You've got to remember, you cannot memory hole shit, Jay, and that's the problem. In this country, everybody memory holes things. They completely forget about that this man said that no women were abused on Epstein Island except other by Epstein. Epstein was the only person that abused women on this island. The only single person. He said he had no information that any, not evidence, information that any, when the reporter said, are we going to see the list, or are we going to see anybody, the names of the men that he's like men that abused young girls? I don't even know what that means. That right there was the real Todd Blanche. I'm going to show you what he said yesterday. Okay. This is not the real Todd Blanche, though. This is the Todd Blanche that's telling you what you want to hear, Jay. All right. So I'm going to let you hear it. And it sounds good. It sounds good. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the real Todd Blanche. You saw the real Todd Blanche during that press conference at the White House. But I'm going to show you this Todd Blanche and what he has to say right here. Let's take a listen real quick. Let me move this out of the way. All right, let's take a listen to this. And I probably still can't hear it, so you're going to have to tell me what's going on.
In a recent interview, former President Barack Obama said, and I quote, "The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting
At least I can read
the president
the things.
wants to prosecute." You're the Attorney General. What is your response?
Well, coincidentally, I happen to have, I think, a copy of our Constitution. So if we want, we can read our Constitution together. Article 2 says the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. It does not say that the Attorney General stands off to the side. So I'm an acting Attorney General. The Attorney General is a member of the cabinet of the President of the United States. The Constitution gives the president power. So I question people in this country that suggest that President Trump, as the chief executive of the United States, does not have the authority or the right, or shouldn't be leading this country in all areas, including what we need to be doing to get rid of crime in this country. And so I'm not familiar with the comments you just talked about, but to the extent that President Trump calls me and says that he thinks that we have a problem in this country, whether it's this scourge of drugs, illegal immigration, every American wants him to do that, and he should.
But the accusation here from the former president is that your department is now charging political adversaries of the president, or perceived political adversaries of the president, on his behalf to settle scores.
There's something extraordinarily rich about a Democrat suggesting that this administration is charging our political adversaries. I mean, first of all, we're not. Second of all, how about we think about what happened the past 4 years?
How about we think about what happened the past 4 years? You see, you can tell he's saying exactly what you want to hear. That's what it is. You can tell. Jay, you're muted, by the way.
I'm back. All right, the media is so dumb. They are so dumb.
Yeah.
All right. Barack Obama had Eric Holder as his attorney general. Eric Holder referred to himself as Barack Obama's wingman. And Barack Obama is the one accusing President Trump. And the fact that what Todd Blanche just said, the past 4 years, they went after President Trump because he was the Republican frontrunner to unseat
Merrick
Democrats.
Garland is the epitome of a right-hand man that does the president's bidding.
So was Holder. But
Sessions.
So Sessions did the Democrats bidding against the president when he recused himself. I mean, what a joke!
But they do whatever they do. They have the power to do whatever they want. They're the top law enforcement officer in the country.
But what he said is correct. They are members of the president's cabinet. They are a member of the executive branch. And I got to be honest. I like the fact that he carries around the pocket constitution. And what should happen?
I also don't think that's real.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
I think he
like
did it for the interview. If you want the truth.
love when they pull receipts out, though. And President Trump's done it when he's like, when he did it with Caitlin Collins at that debate, it's like, actually, I have the numbers right. I love that. But I think what should happen with the pocket constitution, Jack, is Caroline Leavitt at the press in the press room. She should hand them out to every member of the media. So Todd Blanche, what he should have did is said, here, actually, you can keep this one and do yourself a favor and read it. That's what he should have did. That would have been my answer, along with the fact that he said, think about the past 4 years. He's right, though. And whatever, he's saying the right things. I'll take it. And people say, Todd Blanche isn't a good guy. You know what?
He's a snake.
I hope he is a snake, and I hope he's a bad guy. I hope he's a snake and a bad guy enough of the time to destroy the lives of the people who we want to see their lives destroyed.
But let me tell you, you cannot turn your back on a snake.
I know, but maybe
a snake will not be your friend. A snake might act like it's not going to do anything to you. It might bite other people, but as soon as you turn your back, as soon as you put your guard down for 1 second, that rattlesnake's going to bite you right in the neck.
Well, right now, Todd Blanche is playing the game, and he's on our side. So while he's on our side, I want him to be a disgusting, despicable human being and snake and destroy the Democrats.
You ain't got to worry about that.
That's what I want him to be, just like Merrick Garland was, just like Eric Holder was. I want someone on our side to be the same way.
Don't ever leave Jeff Sessions out. I don't care if he was Trump's Bill Barr. They're all terrible people.
Oh, Jeff Sessions. You know what, Jeff Sessions? The fact that he couldn't recuse himself fast enough to throw President Trump under the bus. I mean, give me a break.
He was one of the worst people,
joke.
Man. The thing that I hate Jeff Sessions the most about, though, is the fact that he arrested so many people in states where marijuana was legal. He arrested them because it was illegal federally, and he debanked them. He arrested them. He took their money, even though it was legal in the state. The federal government needlessly usurped states' powers right there, and that was Jeff Sessions that did that. And by the way, I want to ask: is there a law against marijuana, or is it the Chevron deference? Is that what it was?
I don't remember.
Where you know how like the ATF or the DEA puts out regulations? That's actually not legal. They are not a law body. Right. They are not a body that can make laws. But yet the DEA can tell you which drugs are illegal, what controls they should be. The Chevron deference put a stop to that. These things can no longer go. At least they're not supposed to go on. They have laws can only be passed by Congress, but yet these people were putting out regulations that were laws. So that's why I ask, are these drug laws, even marijuana, are they actually laws, or are they regulations from the DEA?
No, there was state laws. I know in New York against it for absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, I know that, but I'm talking about federally. Yeah,
I don't know.
Because if California makes marijuana legal, right? And I know for a fact that he raided many, many farms, marijuana farms, and even when it was legal in California, still is, and he raided many farms and stole their money, stole everything from these people just because it was illegal federally. Now, was that a law? Or was that a DEA? Because if I'm them, I sue the shit out of Jeff Sessions personally. I sue the shit out of the federal government, because that is what I hate Jeff Sessions for the most. He needlessly usurped state power and arrested people for things that I don't even know if they were actual laws or if they were just DEA regulations, which are illegal.
Don't they do that all the time with Second Amendment stuff too? Like now President Trump had to write an executive order to make suppressors not illegal anymore or something like that. Because
but the thing is, they're not supposed. If it's not a law passed by Congress, it is not legal anymore.
Agreed. Well, that's why they're the legislative branch, and if it's not, regulators or bodies should not be able to write up laws. It should be have to
No.
pass through legislation.
Because you can't have unelected bureaucrats writing laws. And the DEA, the ATF,
Yeah.
these are unelected bureaucrats. They are not allowed to write regulations that
Rules.
the entire country has to follow. They are enforcement bodies, not law bodies.
I think they call them rules, Jack, to try and get around it. They can call them
Regulation.
rules.
They're regulations.
Rules and regulations. We have a huge problem in this country with rules and regulations. The administrative state actually, running things and coming up with so many things that you're not supposed to do, like you said, that have never been passed in a legislature.
They're not
Whether it's
legal.
state-
After the Chevron deference, after the Supreme Court case with the Chevron deference, they are not legal. They are not allowed to do that anymore. And they probably still are, if you want the truth.
Yeah, well, if they are, whoever's doing it should be held to account, which, again,
I'd sue
we
the
don't know.
shit out. Are you kidding? See, that's the problem, though, in America. All we can do is, civilians, all we can do is sue them civilly. That doesn't do anything because they just give us back our tax money. That's all they do. What we need to be able to do is sue them for jail time. What if we sue them for jail time? We sue them. Instead of giving me $5 million, I want these particular people to go to jail if I can prove my case.
Oh, listen, you're preaching to this choir right here when I
Can't we
say
do something like that?
I want politicians, judges. I want them held civilly and criminally for the decisions they make and the policies that they put in place.
But civilians should be able to bring not charge these people, but maybe sue them in court. And if a judge says
That's
you
what I
got
mean.
enough evidence for this to move forward, we're going to charge them.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
let's go, for instance, in North Carolina with Irina Zarutska, that monster that slit her throat on the train, who a magistrate judge, released, that family should be able to sue that judge into oblivion. Forget about
Criminally.
That too. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not even worried. Civilly, we're already allowed to sue these people. I'm talking about criminally.
Are we?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
allowed
yeah.
to
Yeah.
No, not her personally. You could sue probably the state.
It depends. You can sue her if she what was it called? Does like a gross neglect of her job. If you can prove that this was gross neglect, a
Very
pattern of which she was, I think she released him like 20 times or something. Is a gross neglect of her job.
Yeah, it's still very hard to prove. It should
well,
be simple.
it is.
It should be
But
more
the thing
simple.
is,
should be
we
more
need
simple.
to be able to sue them criminally, is what I'm talking about.
Charging
Okay.
criminal.
No.
Charging-
Let's say we can't have civilians going around charging people because that's going to be
No, but this-
ridiculous. But let's say we sue them, Jay. Let's say we have evidence and we sue them. Okay, we should be allowed just to go to a judge, sue them, and then if the judge says, "All right, you do have probable cause for me to charge this person," so the judge then charges them, and then we can prove our case if we have enough evidence. We should be able to bring that in front of a court, not have to rely on the police to gather evidence when they don't want to do shit, or have to rely on the FBI when in fact they're not going to do anything. There has got to be a remedy other than civil that civilians can do against these people. Impeachment is not going to work because it's the same corrupt system. Suing them civilly, not going to work because all they do is give us back our own tax money. None of this stuff works. There's got to be a different remedy to sue these people criminally.
Well, here's what I'll say. There's laws already on the books called aiding and abetting. And Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Alejandro Mayorkas aided and abetted, in my opinion, anybody that crossed the border illegally under their watch and commits a murder, they should be charged with aiding and abetting a murderer.
But
you let them in.
But what you see what I'm talking about here? We have to rely on the authorities to do that, and they're not going to do that. We should be able to sue people criminally. And I'm saying, look, I'm going to put money up. I will put my own money up. It takes, let's say $5,000. It takes $5,000 to sue somebody criminally or to sue an entity criminally. All right. Because it takes up court time and court costs. All right. I will pay $5,000. I'm going to sue them criminally. That way I can get them in front of a judge. I'm in front of a judge. I show probable cause. I show evidence that I have that they did this. They were neglectful. Then the judge says, okay, you know what? You either got probable cause or you don't. You do. All right, we're going to charge them right now. Bailiff, take them into custody. They can post whatever bail. That is what we need. We need something like that. Not a thing where a civilian can just go take out a warrant. No, because that will be abused. But a criminal lawsuit where we have to go in front of a judge to prove that we have probable cause to arrest these people. We need to have something like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, but then you got to worry about the judges. Who do the judges work for? They, you know,
Well, then you
I
could
mean,
sue them criminally too. I'm saying as
they
long as you
should
have
be.
the, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Impeachment is not going to work. They're in the same corrupt system. Like I said, suing them civilly, not going to work. Most of them have qualified immunity. The ones that don't, they're just going to give you back your own tax money. It doesn't do anything.
You know, politicians should not. I mean, police have qualified immunity. Politicians should be held responsible, like you said, criminally, civilly, for the
Mhm.
policies that they put in place. Period.
Absolutely.
They should be. If you're a mayor, if you're the one signing off on some law that, first of all, violates, here's the thing, sanctuary cities, they're violating federal law. We know this already.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
violating
It's
federal
sanctuary
law.
cities are illegal.
That's the thing. So in any sanctuary city where we know that these mayors, whatever, or city council, whoever it is in charge, are enforcing unlawful sanctuary policies, they should be held responsible for somebody that is there under that policy who commits a
Mhm.
crime. End of story.
Absolutely.
End of story. I don't see how there's a way around this. You're in,
No.
it's that's the one, Jack, where it's not even up to debate. They're breaking.
But the problem is,
federal law.
Jay, again, this is the same problem that we're bumping up against. We have to rely on the authorities to do these things, and they're not going to do it because the higher ups tell them not to. We need a remedy that civilians can use to sue these people criminally. That's what we need.
Good luck getting it through legislation, but I don't disagree with you.
Oh, it'll never happen because then they'll be sued criminally if they do something. So it'll never happen.
Never. You know, it really is frustrating. It's very frustrating. Like we're watching what's going on in LA. You've been
Mhm.
watching that with Spencer Pratt. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I am enjoying it, and I'm not gonna tell you that Spencer Pratt is a Republican or MAGA or a conservative. He's not. He's not. Okay. But what he is somebody that appears to have common sense. And he'll tell you he voted for Kamala Harris. Now, that was last year and a half, 2 years ago, almost. Maybe he's learned a lot since then because he seems to be just speaking in plain common sense.
Now, Jay, did he learn a lot? Or if you're a Democrat and smart, do you pretend to get somebody in their party? If I'm a Republican, if I'm Republicans, I have somebody that was a staunch Republican that is loyal to my party, switch to Democrat, start saying everything the right way, then get into power. That's the smart way to do it if you want the truth. Real quick, before we keep going, Jay, I want to talk about our sponsor real quick, Max Associates. They are an excellent place to get all your best USA Pride gifts and patriotic apparel. Max Associates is the #1 place for these things. maxassociates.etsy.com. I'm going to put the QR code up there. You can scan the QR code or you can go to the website. I'm telling you, I mean, this is the year of America's 250th anniversary. If now is the time, less than 2 months away, now is the time to order these things because, I mean, if you're going to get them somewhere else, you might as well get them here because you're not going to get the same deal everywhere else that you're going to get here. Jay, tell them about the deal that they would get if they order it from here.
The deal is 20% off of anything over $20 and free shipping throughout the United States. You can't beat that. Just look at the stuff that you're looking at on the screen right now. Bags, shirts, mugs, cell phone covers. There's flags. There's you name it. And it's not just patriotic. It's specific patriotic, a lot of it. It'll tell people exactly where you stand. And as Jack said, the 250th anniversary of our country, there is no better time than to get on that website right now and buy some stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, if anything, you should at least go check it out if you're thinking about buying anything, because like he said, 20% off and free shipping. I mean, if you're going to get something from another place, you might as well get it from here because you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. So there's literally no reason to go to another place to get patriotic apparel or USA Pride gifts. It doesn't make any sense because you're going to get a 10 times better deal here. Free shipping on anything you buy because, anything you buy is probably going to be like $20. You'll get automatic 20% off of that and free shipping on anything you buy, basically. So it doesn't make any sense to purchase things anywhere else. It doesn't make any sense. So make sure you guys check out maxassociates.etsy.com. You will not be sorry. Jay, so like what we were talking about a second ago, though, if I'm the Democrats, and the Republicans would never do this, they're weak. But if I'm the Democrats, they are brutal people. I would have Like I'm writing a book, Jay, about a certain president that was, and it's not about the president, but it's about the, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's about a guy who was trained to be something, you know, and he became that thing because he was groomed to be that thing. And if the Democrats are smart, just the way it was done with this particular person, they should do it with, you know, local politicians like LA, New York, whatever, or places that a Republican would win. Doesn't have to be LA or New York, big cities that are Republican, Dallas, you know, Miami, whatever it is. And then you can have that person go all the way to president, all the way to Senate, whatever, and then switch when you really need them to. They can stay Republican, but they'll vote against Republicans every time. I mean, so, I mean, when you got people like a Spencer Pratt, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I really honestly don't know anything about him. But when you say he votes for Kamala Harris just a couple of years ago, just a year and a half ago, he voted for Kamala Harris. That's a pretty large turn in just a year and a half. So,
well, maybe his house burned down in the fires.
Yeah,
Maybe that woke him up. Maybe he said, wait a minute. And not only the fires, what happened with the fires, the lack of water, the lack of fire department personnel, all the stuff that we know.
Well, that was all on purpose. That was all on purpose.
Oh, right. So all that, plus the fact that he's living in a trailer now, while Karen Bass and the other one that's running, the one you brought up, Nathaya, whatever her name, Raman, living in a $3 million mansion. Maybe that woke him up and he said, yeah, I've had enough. And now
that's possible. That is possible. All I'm saying is when you got people like this, just like when you got Obama, just like when you got Vivek Ramaswamy, when you see people that come out of nowhere, you know, Vivek Ramaswamy, Barack Obama. I like Vivek Ramaswamy, but I'm saying you got to keep your eyes on these people. When they come out of nowhere like that, a Spencer Pratt, who was, you know, a big time voted for Kamala Harris. You know, you got to keep your eyes on these people. I'm not saying don't vote for them. I'm saying use your best judgment and keep your eyes on these people.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Like I said, I'm not expecting Spencer Pratt to come in here and be Donald Trump as the mayor of Los Angeles. You can't. But what we will take at this point is somebody with common sense who's not going to want men in women's sports. He's not going to want boys in your daughter's locker room. He's not going to want them to be able to cut your kid's genitals off. And if you don't agree with it, the state takes the kid away. He's not going to be somebody that wants wide open borders to have people flooding into Los Angeles that the city has to pay for while people that are American citizens are struggling.
But if you want the truth, though, the mayor of LA doesn't matter because it's the governor that is doing all of those things.
But it's still very important to have somebody in a city that large. It's a very
it is, city. But they don't matter because the city council is all liberal, overrides them, and then you've got the governor that overrides them every time.
But this would send a shockwave through that city council.
A message,
a huge message to all of them that you'll be next. Because
definitely.
And I also like the fact, Jack, the post I made today that I sent to you with the video, right? It's a simple question. Should non-citizens be voting in elections? Spencer Pratt right away. No. That's it. But Karen Bass and the other one, Nathaya Raman, well, we don't know if they have green cards, stop. No. If you are not an American citizen, you should not be voting in American elections at any level.
Isn't that in the Constitution or something?
I don't care if it's a dog catcher in your town. If you're not an American citizen, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. It's a very simple question, and it's a yes or no. There's no kind of trying to figure out how maybe somebody that should be voting. And that's the answer they gave. And I'm telling you right now, that 40 seconds could very well, along with the fact that his social media team is incredible, along with that, and his commercials are just outstanding and they're getting tons of attention. I think maybe he has a chance to make some noise. I'll tell you this. I don't think Karen Bass is sleeping very well right now. I think she thought this was
Nathaya Raman and Karen Bass are going to split the votes. If it's a ranked choice thing, they're going to end up splitting the votes, and it might end up being him and whoever else. You know how California does weird shit. But I want to say, for our thumbnail, it says on our thumbnail, it says Republicans win big. And the reason that we put that up there is for something like this. Okay. Right here, you've got the Tennessee House just passed a new redistricting map that was no longer a race redistricting map. It was because the Democrats, the only seat they won was an all black district or a majority black district. So they recut the districts to make them the way they're supposed to be, spread out. And Republicans will now have 9 seats to the Democrats 0. This is huge. This is a big win because it's also probably going to happen in Louisiana. I think it just happened in another state, Arkansas or Alabama, whatever the hell it was.
And Mississippi too.
Yeah, Mississippi. It's going to continue to happen in many states after
Florida.
the Supreme Court decision.
Florida too, Jack. Already done.
Yeah, it's going to continue to happen in many states after the Supreme Court decision. So it's going to actually give the Republicans a pretty decent majority to where the rhinos will no longer be able to stop things. The 5 or 6 or 7 rhinos shouldn't be able to stop things. Once we are done with this, we should be up an extra 16, 17, 18, maybe even 19 House seats, which would be incredible. So that's why it's a big win. And then also it was a big win, Jay, because of, I want to say it was because of the Indiana, what happened in Indiana. I think every single one of the people that Donald Trump endorsed won. Like, check this out. I mean, these were all Trump-backed candidates right here, and every single one of them won in every single district. They beat out the people that in the primaries. They beat out the people that that crossed Trump, if you will. And so they all won. Every single one of them won. So that's another big win for Republicans. So it was been a great couple of days, especially, and I cannot stress this enough, everybody, especially with the new House seats that the Republicans are flipping, because the only way the Democrats could win House seats was based on race. They know black people majority vote for Democrats. So they drew lines to where there were districts that were majority black people, so the Democrats could have seats. But now that Supreme Court said that that's illegal, that it's race-based, now that it's got to go to something a little fairer, the Democrats are going to lose a lot of seats, and they are very upset about it.
Oh, yeah, they're going crazy. Tennessee today, they flipped out after it was passed, acting like children. Just disgusting. I'm just going to say it. The Democrat Party, I don't know what happened to these people. It's so radical at this point. They're out of their damn minds.
Extremist, man. I've never seen something like this.
It's like children that didn't get their favorite toy, when their parents went into Toys R Us. It's
they have no respect for anything at all.
No.
Did you see the way that the Tennessee, I think he's like a Tennessee House member, treated, his name's Jonathan, I think his name, or Justin, the way he treated that state trooper?
Yes.
Did you see the way he did that? That was sickening.
Jack, you should play that. So
I'll have
everybody
to
can
find it, but that was sickening, man.
just search for it. It'll come right up. You should play it just so people can see it for themselves, what we're talking about, if they haven't yet. They're just out of their damn minds. They don't let's compare this. If they thought that, say, green card holders were going to vote Republican, they'd be going ballistic. They would be building a wall about 20,000 feet high with machine gun turrets at the ramparts. Now that the Supreme Court has taken what they were doing forever away from them, now all of a sudden they're going absolutely bonkers like this, what Jack's going to play you right now.
Yeah. Let's take a listen because this was some sickening stuff from Representative Justin Pearson of Tennessee. And these are the people, the state troopers that are protecting him, by the way.
What's wrong with you? Under arrest.
Oh, hell.
What's wrong with you? You stupid mother.
That is absolutely sickening. The way they treat people, because they don't get what they want. They're criminals. I want to say every single Democrat, criminals, actual criminals that are being elected to office only because of race-based gerrymandering or illegal voting. That's the only reason they're in there.
The minute he went chest to chest with him, he's getting spun around and handcuffed.
Oh, if he touched me at all, I mean, if his spit hit me in the face, he's getting arrested.
That's it. You're done. You're done. You're done. That's when this shit ends.
Oh, he'd have been on the ground.
Done. You go chest to chest and get in my face. It's over. No one got that close to me, Jack, ever when I was at work. If they did, they didn't do it for very long, and they spent the night somewhere not home. Okay?
Yeah,
that's
how it's supposed to be.
Exactly. The cop the state trooper didn't provoke any. What did he do?
He was just
What did he do?
Yeah,
Standing
he was
there.
white. That's what he did.
Yeah, exactly. And that guy's a complete freaking racist. I've seen him before. He's a racist. He's a flat out racist. I know black people can't be racist. Well, watch him and maybe you'll change your mind.
Well,
That
if you
guy's
want
a
the
racist.
God's honest truth, black people are the most racist. If you want the truth,
Listen.
hey, the truth is the truth. I'm sorry.
I listen. You don't have to apologize for telling the truth ever. But what I'm saying is, let's get back to this with what happened with Georgia. I want to talk about Georgia when we're talking about states that should be doing this. Well, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, is not going to do it because first of all, him and President Trump don't get along.
Well, he's
and
a
what it is
rhino
with Brian, well, what it is with Brian Kemp, Jack, we know what happened in 2020 in Georgia with the election. Brian Kemp never wants to actually admit that happened under his watch.
No,
ever.
No, he won't.
He just won't. Him and his
I will say
Secretary
at
of
least
State,
at least Stacey Abrams didn't get in. That's what I got to say there.
Exactly. But now we'll make another point that we always make. Guess what? I would still vote if I'm in Georgia for someone like Brian Kemp over Stacey Abrams. Even though I don't think Brian Kemp is a real Republican. Brian Kemp's a globalist. He's a globalist Republican like George Bush.
Oh, yeah. But he's still better than Stacey Abrams.
Right. I'll still vote for him. And when people complain, well, I get it. You don't want to keep just rewarding them for not doing exactly what we want. I understand that, but we got to keep doing that until we could actually get rid of them with somebody better. That's the thing. It's a march. And I made a point today in my space, Jack. I said, AOC took 120 years. AOC didn't just pop up 10 years ago. To get to an AOC took the Democrats 120 years to get her into office. To get Karen Bass as the mayor of Los Angeles took a long time for them to get to that point where she was tolerable for Democrats to get into office. So it takes time. We're only 10 years in. And we're going to have to suffer a little bit with the Brian Kemps or the Don Bacons or some others that we know all too well until we can replace them with somebody better. But a Democrat taking their place, we can't afford 4 years of it. We can't afford 2 years of it. We certainly can't afford 6 years of it in a sad scene.
No, we just can't. That's why even if you detest the Republicans for not doing anything, it's better than them doing nothing is better than having the Democrats come in and actively work against you.
Right. A Republican doing nothing is way better than a Democrat doing anything. So
and just so people know, the Republicans will do nothing. I'm not going to, let's be real, but it's better than the Democrats working against you.
Right. Do nothing until we get somebody in there that'll do something. And no, Republicans aren't going to be, most of them aren't going to be the solver of all your problems, but all of your problems were created by Democrats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They create them to solve them. But Jay, I want to switch subjects real quick because did you know that there was in 2017, there was an obscure bureaucrat doctor that made a video that said during the next administration, before Trump got into office, he said during the next administration, there will be a viral outbreak that is going to cause, a surprise viral outbreak. That's what he says. And this particular obscure bureaucrat doctor that nobody knew who he was, worked in every single administration since the Richard Nixon administration. So he knew what to do and how to do it. And this obscure doctor, at the time he was obscure, he said there is going to be a viral outbreak during the next administration, which is Donald Trump's administration. And that is exactly what happened. I want to play the video of this obscure doctor saying such a thing because it's very interesting stuff, I must say. To see somebody say something's going to happen and then it happens is very interesting. So here's the obscure doctor back in 2017.
Who's that guy?
Is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. And is that there is no question.
Also, there will be a surprise outbreak. Now, how the hell would he know that? A surprise outbreak?
It's not such a surprise when you tell me. You've ruined this.
There hasn't been a surprise outbreak in administrations for a long time. So why would he say, there's going, he didn't say there might be. He said there's going to be a surprise outbreak.
Oh my God. You ruined the surprise for us, Dr. Fauci. I mean, I was ready for my birthday. I want to be surprised. I don't want it to be ruined by you, but you ruined it. You ruined my surprise party. I mean,
Jay, is today your birthday?
no, kidding.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your birthday. But let me say, Jay, real quick though, I gotta say, if there's anybody in the world that should be tried for crimes against humanity, if there's anybody in the world that should be treated like the Nazis were treated at Nuremberg, it is Anthony Fauci.
You're right. How does nobody, Jack, play that video and not right? Just on that video alone, why isn't he being absolutely waterboarded till he tells us exactly what the hell he was talking about there?
He's not just an American terrorist. He was a global terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jack says obscure. Quite frankly, yes, most people COVID never heard of Anthony Fauci.
Back then he was obscure. Back then. Nobody knew who the hell he was.
He was prominent in the 80s with AIDS. Go do your research on Anthony Fauci with AIDS and HIV.
And find out when he was doing research on it and when the outbreak started.
It might have been a surprise outbreak then, too.
I think he said there was going to be a surprise autoimmune deficiency disease that's going to come out. We're going to, it's going to be, I think he said it's going to be a surprise autoimmune deficiency disease. And then the next thing you know, an autoimmune deficiency disease that nobody had a cure for came out. And there we are.
Yeah,
AIDS epidemic.
It just so happens during another Republican administration. That was Ronald Reagan's administration when AIDS and HIV broke out.
Always during a Republican administration, right? Because he works actively against them.
I mean, guys, that interview, that little thing, that was on Benny Johnson. Is that what that looked? Or was Benny Johnson just?
It was just the video. Yeah, no, it wasn't on a Benny Johnson interview. It was just the video he played.
Who was he talking to? Do we know who?
I don't think he was talking to anybody. I think it was a video he made.
It was a video he made.
I'm not 100% sure, but there was no question that was asked, and there was no anybody else there that I saw.
Interesting. I mean, right. But yeah, just based on that video alone, this guy should be, like I said, in Guantanamo Bay until he spills the beans. That's what that should be happening.
No, he is the #1 global terrorist in the world. He has killed probably more people than anyone in the history of the world, if you want the truth, with any single person.
Right. Not only with the virus itself, but the vaccine.
The vaccine, the virus, and then the AIDS epidemic that you add to it.
It's staggering. It really is. You're right. How is this guy walking free amongst us? I don't know.
No idea. But I'm going to tell you, there's another rat that's going on right now, and his name is Nick Fuentes. I want to show you something. I want to show you this post that he just did today.
Okay? Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, you want to see a post he just did today? Let's check this out, okay? So Nick Fuentes is the double agent. He's a double agent, and I'm going to tell you why. This man was at January 6th. He was coaxing people, to go to the Capitol. Let's do this. But yet, he's the only person, including Ray Epps, who was charged with some misdemeanor bullshit just to try to satisfy people. He's the only person that was never charged with anything. Yeah. He was not charged with anything. Well, you have 89-year-old grandmas with cancer that were within 600 miles of the Capitol, charged with, capital murder, whatever the hell it was. But he was charged with absolutely nothing. Look at the post. This is a little meme that I made earlier today. You can see the post in the top left right there. This is what he said earlier today. It's really not that complicated. The Republicans totally betrayed their voters and broke every single promise. So I'm switching sides and voting Democrat in 2026 to punish them. This man right here, a guy who constantly divided the right, attacked conservatives more than the left did, poisoned young voters with purity tests, and helped fracture Republican unity, is now saying he'll hand power directly to Democrats out of spite. And if the gropers follow him, they could absolutely help cost Republicans key races, congressional seats, and governorships. It could cause a lot of problems because the gropers are just as insane as the left. They are motivated by hate, just like the left. And that is the thing that motivates the left to vote. Anger, jealousy, and hate. Same things that the gropers have.
You know what I'm hoping, Jack, that most of his gropers are not even in this country, because we know a lot of them aren't, but some of them are. He
had a lot of bot farmers. Yeah, he's a bot farmer.
The best part, I mean, there's so many things in that short statement that you could talk about. I responded to it. I said, he said, it's not complicated. I responded, it's not complicated. You're a Democrat. That's it.
Yeah. Oh,
And you always were. You were
and a
always
federal
Democrat.
informant if you want the truth.
Yeah, that whole thing. We should, Jack, find that video of him standing up there with his bullhorn.
Yeah,
and play it for
he
everybody.
had to have been because even Ray Epps, who everybody knows was a federal informant, got charged with some misdemeanor bullshit just to satisfy the crowd. But Fuentes wasn't charged with a damn thing.
Yeah, play what he and the things he was saying. I mean, he didn't just say a little bit; he was saying a lot, and no charges. It makes zero sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. And what's not true is that he wasn't a federal asset, because he was, in my opinion, a federal asset in the largest entrapment operation in the history of our country.
Absolutely. Take a listen to this, guys.
Keep moving towards the Capitol. It appears we are taking the Capitol back. Keep marching and don't relax. Never relax. Yeah! Break down the barriers and disregard the police. This Capitol belongs to us.
They're evacuating the Capitol! They're evacuating the Capitol! They're evacuating the Capitol!
The police are evacuating the Capitol.
And by the way, so I can't hear what he's saying. For some reason, there's something still wrong with the audio here. But what I can tell you is a person that is not looking to cause trouble does not bring a bullhorn. Why would he have a bullhorn? He's there to cause trouble. He's there to rile up a crowd. That's why you have a bullhorn at a protest.
Well, he said, I got a couple of things here. He said, we're taking the Capitol, like keep advancing. And he said, disregard the police. How is Nick Fuentes not charged?
He was not charged with a single thing.
How is that right? Unless he was a federal asset, how is he not charged when, as you said, they charged people for just standing out there, and they charged them with something, with facial recognition?
Let me tell you why he wasn't charged, Jay. Not just because he was a federal informant, but let me tell you why else he wasn't charged. I think, and this is just my personal opinion, that people like a Nancy Pelosi, someone that had power at the time, someone that had power in the Democrat aisle, said, look, you're either going to go to prison or you can continue to be an informant for the FBI or whatever it is, but you've also got to bring people over to our side. We need all the voters and help we can get. You bring people over to our side, you will not be charged.
Continue being a usurper or an insurgent in the Republican Party.
Even more so.
Yeah, keep on thinking, play it off, and then at the right time, we're going to need you to, pull the switch like Rocky did in Rocky 2 with his right.
And now's the time. Now's the time they need it more than anything. And that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Jack, I think a lot of people there's a lot of people that aren't, like, say, a groiper. They're in the middle. They pay attention.
Groper. Please stop saying groiper. It's a stupid
groper,
name.
The groper, right? We know that. But I think a lot of people who kind of just pay attention and try to take everything in and make a decision, they get it. They know this guy's a fraud.
I hope so.
They do. So. I think a lot of people do. Like, dude, are you kidding me? First of all, he's not only saying don't vote. This guy's saying vote Democrat. You're telling people to vote against everything that you are for and everything you're against. So everything you're for, you want the party to vote against what you're saying you're for. So
Jay, his only reasoning for that is that the party is not doing exactly what he wants. So that's why he wants you to vote for the party that won't do anything and will actively work against what he wants. So it tells you that that's not what he wants. He is a Democrat, probably most likely, in my opinion, federal informant that was given an ultimatum. Either you come to our side aggressively and get us when we get us the voters when we need them, or you're going to go to prison.
Yeah, or we're going to have to at least pretend you're going to prison like we did with Ray Epps. We're going to have to do something to you.
They didn't even do that.
You're talking scot-free.
There was no arrest. There was no nothing. People that made phone calls 1,000 miles away were arrested. Their doors were kicked in. This man was there. He got nothing.
Yeah, well, somebody we're not even that big of a fan of, and we know who it is, wasn't there, We know who it is. And he was
Who the hell are we talking about?
Tario. He wasn't there either.
God. That motherfucker, man.
Well, right. But that aside, but my
No.
point
He
is,
pissed me off because he tried to bullshit me on one of my posts. You saw that shit. I don't know if you saw it. It was the Nick Fuentes post. That's what it was. He tried to give me some bullshit on the fuck that dude.
But he's an example though. He wasn't even there. He wasn't even there, and he was sent to prison. I mean, that's the thing. And Fuentes is there with a bullhorn. If we're going to talk about people who were known, was there with a bullhorn saying, take the Capitol, disregard the police, riling people up, and he gets nothing?
Disregard the police and take the Capitol. Those are commands that make you in a conspiracy for whatever that group commits. You are part of that conspiracy.
And not charged nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Make it make sense. You can't.
No. So you guys decide. You guys decide what you think. If he was a federal informant, if he still is, if he was a Democrat, a usurper the whole time, it's up for you guys to think. Make sure, though, that you guys do visit maxassociates.etsy.com. You guys want to make sure that you go there because it is the #1 place, like we said, for USA Pride gifts and patriotic apparel. Jay and I both shop there. You know, our wives shop there. You know, we try to only do sponsors that we actually believe in, okay? And we believe in this because his products are shipped from the USA. They're made in the USA. And not only that, anywhere in the USA gets free shipping and 20% off $20 or more. And every order you make is going to be $20 more because you're going to want to get this and this and this. You automatically get 20% off and free shipping. So if you're thinking about getting any Pride gift, any patriotic apparel, why not start at maxassociates.etsy.com because you're automatically going to get that amazing deal. Also, guys, make sure you follow us on X, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and Instagram. Secret America TV. That is our screen name for every single one of those. We're live every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Jay is also on TikTok at Opinionsvary with an A. We are not on TikTok because I guess we told too much of the truth and they couldn't handle it. So they banned us fairly quickly. We were gaining a pretty decent following on TikTok, and that's when they banned us. So, you know, take that for what you will. TikTok is, oh my God, it's worse than YouTube. Worse, and that's hard to say that a company is worse than YouTube because YouTube steals content. YouTube stole content. That's how YouTube became big, because they stole content and didn't have to pay for it at the beginning. And they still steal content. What they do is they wait until you put a lot of content on there, then they ban you so they don't have to pay you.
Well, listen, YouTube is very hard as well. But yeah, I got my first strike.
YouTube is what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I got my first strike on TikTok, not my first one, but the first one in a while, the other day for a video that was absolutely vanilla. I was basically talking about the 2020 election, and I got hit with a misinformation and about the election, so they struck the video. Lisa makes a good thing, Jack, before we get out of here. She said he already likely, regarding Fuentes, he likely already worked for the Southern Poverty Law Center, and I think that's true.
Why do you think that's true? What does that have to do with anything?
I think that's true that he was involved with the Southern Poverty Law Center back then.
Why? And, what do they have to do with any of that?
Well, so they're the ones that just paid a bunch of. They just got indicted for paying white supremacists to basically make up fake things about white supremacy.
So, okay. So I see the connection here then, because this man was espousing white supremacist rhetoric for the entire time, and he was also espousing, Nazi rhetoric the entire time. So if they're paying people to do this, why wouldn't they pay Fuentes, who's got a big following that will listen to the white supremacist rhetoric? I mean, it is what it is.
And there you go. And that enables somebody like Joe Biden and everybody else to come out and say that white supremacy is the white supremacist violence is the worst thing we face in this country, which was such a fake narrative from jump. We all knew it. What a joke. Anyway,
no, it was absolutely ridiculous. Guys, we want to thank you so much for watching the show. We appreciate every single one of you. Be sure to subscribe to us on, YouTube and Rumble and everything that we said. Also, we're on the Live from America TV network every Monday through Friday. That's rumble.com/LFATV. We are on there also. So make sure that you guys follow, like, and subscribe, because, it really helps us out. So thank you so much for watching. For Jay Gatling, I am Jack Danger. Thank you for watching Secret America.
You've been listening to Secret America.